Hello, boys and girls. I am Miss Becky. Each week, I'll be here to share encouraging and uplifting stories with you, just the way Miss Kathy would have wanted us to. Spies in the Land of Giants. The Israelites had camped at Mount Sinai for a long time. They had heard God speak from the mountain. They had learned about His rules. They had built God's house so that He could live with them. Now it was time to move on toward the land He had promised them. The Levites packed up God's holy tent exactly the way God had told them to. When everyone had packed and was ready, they set off in the direction God's cloud led them. But it was hard to get used to traveling again. The people got hot. They got tired. Their feet hurt. After only 3 days, they started complaining again. "We're tired of walking," they cried to Moses. "We're thirsty, and we're tired of eating manna all the time." Finally, they reached a place called Paran, not far from the edge of the land of Canaan. God told Moses, "Send one person from each tribe to explore this land that I have given to you." So each tribe picked one man to be a spy. Joshua was picked to be one of them. Moses said, "Go and see what the land looks like. Find out how many people live there. See if they're strong or weak. Find out whether they live in cities with big walls or in small villages. See how well the soil grows plants. Try to bring back some of the fruit you find there." The 12 spies scouted around, exploring the land for 40 days. When they came back, they brought a bunch of grapes so big that it took 2 men to carry it on a pole between them. They also brought back pomegranates and figs. The spies reported, "The good news is that the land is wonderful. Plants of all kinds grow bigger than we've ever seen. You can see how big the fruits grow there." Everyone is excited to hear that. After all the time in the desert eating manna, they could live in a beautiful land filled with all kinds of fruits and vegetables. Then the spies gave the bad news. "But the people living in the land are giants. They're so very strong, and they live in big cities protected by high walls." Some people started wailing and crying. One of the spies, named Caleb, shouted for them to be quiet. "We don't have to be afraid of these people," Caleb shouted. Joshua stood beside him, nodding his head. "We can go and take that land just like God promised." But the other men shouted even louder, "We can't do it. The land is too large for us to conquer, and the people are so big. We would look like grasshoppers to them." That night, all of the people in the camp were wailing and crying. They complained to Moses, "Why did God bring us here to be killed by these giants? We wish we had died in Egypt or in the desert." Then some said, "Let's choose a new leader and go back to Egypt." Moses and Aaron just knelt down in front of the people and prayed. Joshua and Caleb were so unhappy that they ripped their coats. "Don't be afraid of the people in Canaan," they tried to tell the people. "We'll chew them up and spit them out. You have to believe us. Don't you remember all the things that God has done for us? Don't you believe His promises?" But the crowd got even angrier. "Let's kill these stupid spies," they shouted as they picked up stones to throw at Joshua and Caleb. Suddenly God's presence shone like a bright light from the holy tent. God spoke to Moses, "These people refuse to believe in me. I will let them all die and start a new nation of people with you, Moses." "Don't do that," Moses said. "Forgive them, and they will follow you." So God forgave the Israelites because He loved them so much. But He didn't forget that they refused to believe in Him. Because they didn't trust God and didn't believe that they could have had the land of Canaan, they would never get to go in there. God said no one who is older than 20 years old will ever get to go into Canaan, except for Joshua and Caleb. And so no one did. Because they refused to believe God and go into the land He had promised to give them, the Israelites had to wander in the desert for 40 more years. The story you have heard today is from the Shoebox Kids Bible Stories, written by Jerry D. Thomas and used with permission from the Pacific Press Publishing Association. If you're interested in any other books published by the Seventh-day Adventist Church, please visit AdventistBookCenter.com or call 1-800-765-6955.
This podcast is a production of the Carolina Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.